right. Well, welcome everyone. I am Caitlin. I'm the Harvest and the Marketing Manager for Loop 38. And with me here are Deborah D.E.E.P Mouton and Martha Horst. Why don't you both just introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Martha, let's start with you.
Sure. Well, I am first and foremost a mother of two children, 9 and 11 now. And we were talking about dogs. I also have a new husky poo who's
Oh,
below 2, so she has a lot of energy.
wow.
So that takes up part of my life. Also, I'm a professor of music composition at Illinois State University. I teach music theory there and composition, and I actually spend a lot of my time doing shared governance. I'm chair of the academic senate, so a lot of what I do is talk about the faculty needs to the administration and represent the faculty in meetings. So I have a lot of different hats that I wear, and here I am representing the composition side of things.
Lovely. Well, yeah, thank you. And Deborah?
Yeah, my name is Deborah D.E.E.P Mouton. I'm a writer, I guess is the easiest way to say. I write everything from books to plays to libretti to kind of whatever words fall into. And I'm super excited about this. I run Deep Ink, my own company where I just write because I'm a writer. And I'm super excited about the projects coming up, including this one with Loop 38.
Wonderful.
Oh, I should add, I also have 2 children. I meant to say that. I was going to copy you, Martha, and then I did. 2 children and a beautiful husband, and that take up my time.
I have a husband too, yeah.
They're in there. They're all in there.
Yeah, everybody. And I was telling you both a minute ago, I've got a dog. My parents' dog might come through and visit at some point too. His name is Rigo, and he's the best. It's so great to get to know both of you through this process. So I just want to give a little background on why the three of us are here. We're just here to talk about this exciting project that we're all working on for next year. We at Loop 38 were thrilled to return to the Rothko Chapel for the first time since 2017 in a program we're calling Will and Soul. And the centerpiece of that program will be a brand new commission from the two of you. This project started out as a collaboration between D.E.E.P and Loop 38, and then we had a call for proposals from composers to join into this process. And we're thrilled to announce that out of the 88 submissions from 12 different countries, we have selected Martha's proposal. So today we're just trying to get to know the both of you and learn a little bit more about this project. So first off, D.E.E.P, what initially got you interested in this project and working with Loop 38?
Well, actually, Craig from Loop 38 and I were both artists of the New Now Commission for Performing Arts Houston and met, and each of us had our separate commissions that we kind of were working with to present at Jones Hall, but kind of fell in love with each other's aesthetic and each other's work. And so from there, we kind of knew at some point in time we wanted to bring our two aesthetics together. And this kind of seemed like the perfect place to do so. You know, both of us having been in the city for quite some time and having a real love for the Rothko and its space and mission around being able to connect to people and unify religions and be kind of this neutral space that could like birth a whole lot of different ideas and connections. And so it was really just kind of like pulled on my heartstrings to be able to want to create a piece that lives in the space of this kind of like originating fertile ground of everything that is good in the world, right? And everything that we could be.
Yeah, that's really special. Rothko is such a special place to connect, and it's great that it brought us together in this way.
And then, Martha, what inspired you to apply for our call for proposals?
Sure. Well, I always like applying for things when I get to create something new. Because it's a time to really interact with the ensemble and the artist as opposed to bringing in something from a couple of years ago. So that really attracted me. And the Rothko Chapel has this storied history of music commissions, specifically Morton Feldman's piece. I knew that. And so I was really inspired by that. And then I started investigating Deborah D.E.E.P Mouton's poetry and was really taken not only by her themes, but also her performance ability. You know, she commands the stage. So I felt like I was writing for this this singer, actor, poet, all in one, and so I was really inspired by that. And so when I looked at the proposal, I thought about how I could write a piece that would really capture the spirit of the Rothko Chapel, but also sort of draw upon some of the themes that you presented and that I was hearing in Deborah's poetry as well.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. So it seems like the Rothko has brought all of us together. It has that effect on people, which is why, you know, why we're so excited to be back there. And I think this is going to be a really special event. So kind of on that note, Martha, could you tell us about the proposal you submitted, and what drew you to that and how you ended up where you did?
Well, we're all ending up in a lot of different places, but you know, the proposal, I was thinking about just sort of the process that artists go through in trying to create a piece of music, you know, or a piece of poetry, in this sense that we have to sort of draw upon ourselves, and we all start with a sort of blank slate, but as we're working, you know, we have to really draw upon who we are as an artist, and just and look within ourselves to bring something to the world. And something about the Rothko Chapel seemed very it's sort of like a sanctuary, but it also feels there's a sense of blankness to it, that you are in sort of this inner world. So that's the proposal that I brought out. And since then, you know, Deborah has been talking with me about how she intends to write the poem and construct the poem, and that has been very inspirational to me. And so I'm really trying to think of a musical structure that will emulate and also augment the kind of musical or poetic structure that she's going to use. So it's really an interesting project because we're both going at it at the same time, and we're both trying to bring sort of what it means to be an artist to the entire thematic the thematic undertone of the entire project.
Yeah, it's very a very unique situation in a lot of ways. So Deep, of course, you were a part of the process of selecting the composer through this whole call for proposals process. What did you find so compelling about Martha's proposal in particular?
I think a lot of the things that Martha was speaking of resonated with me, right? I think the kind of place where she brings from of drawing from a blank canvas, and you know, so one of the scariest places for me is a blank page, right? Because it could be anything, including failure, right? And so to hear another artist resonate those ideas that, you know, the blank slate, the blank page for them represents the ability to create things, but also to doubt themselves, to revise, to revisit, to rewrite, right? To reconceptualize things, and then to arrive somewhere brand new from all of that discovery. That for me resonated deeply. And I was like, I think that's something that I can latch on to. I think also the ideas around just like that all of us have this ability to create something, and that it's not universal, you know, it's not unique to one person over another, the ability to create. Those like really that really struck me, because I think that a lot of times people discount their stories and discount what they're capable of doing. It's like, I'm not a creative, but the reality is like all of us are storytellers. All of us have some kind of creative impetus. We just have to figure out how to give it voice to get out of our bodies, you know?
Yeah, that's really interesting. The idea of creation and of art in particular.
That children are actually great at making art because they're uninhibited, right? We get them more, we're sort of inhibited by the entire process and all of the history of all the other pieces of poetry and music that we know about. But yeah, it's all within us. Even young children can make the most incredible pieces of art.
Right. And they're not intimidated by a blank page, I think. You know, a young person sees it. Right. It is not blank. It does not stay blank. You know, no page goes unturned, which is really, it's beautiful and fascinating. And then as we grow up, things start to change. It's interesting. So, I mean, we've already touched on this a little bit, but obviously this collaboration is very unusual in a number of ways. in many ways. And I'm just curious what both of you think about what this process is going to be like, what you find unusual, and what might make that exciting and challenging. You know, both of those things can be true at the same time.
Martha, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, I mean, we're at an advantage. I mean, one of the things musicians often, composers often set poetry, but it's this fixed thing, right? So at that point, we have to look at the poetry, we have to look at the structure, the themes, and really structure the music around this fixed thing that came to us from 150 years ago. But in this process, I mean, Deborah and I are having these conversations about the structure and the themes in real time. So, you know, we can both bring to the project ideas of how the final product will work out. So in that way, it's a true collaboration. It's a back and forth about what we can do. So in many ways, you know, as a performer, you must go through this too, where when you pick up a piece of music from 100 years ago, there's no negotiating, right? But when you're working with an actual composer, you're like, you know, this doesn't really work. Maybe we could do this, you know, or that you can actually have a dialogue. And so it's really exciting to work with a live poet from the ground up and actually talk about, like I said, the structure, the themes, and both be working on it together. So that's really exciting for me. And so far, so good. I'd say so far, so good.
Great.
I'm so sorry about that.
Oh no, you're fine.
For me, I think, you know, the beautiful part about collaboration is that, I think for me, Martha, like that's the part that I latch onto, is the ability to be able to converse about it and to find your way through it. I think for me, the challenge is really being able to honor both of our best, right? I think that if it was just, you know, Martha composed a piece, that would have its own understanding and its own kind of drive. And if it was just Deborah write a poem, that would have its own thing. But to be able to come together and say, like, how do we get both of our best on the page of the staff, right? Like, how do we make sure that the best of both of us arrive there and we still accomplish a goal? It's like a puzzle to me. And I'm not a puzzle person in any other way. I'm a puzzle person when it comes to the artwork, right? Of like figuring out how do we put all the pieces together to make sure the picture that we give an audience is just really beautiful and really clear and breathtaking and something that they can't stop looking at. And so I think those are like the both, you know, the blessing and the curse of this is, you know, the ability to not be your best in some moments and to figure out how to get back to your best. And, you know, I think in a true collaboration, I want Martha at her best and Martha wants me at my best, I assume, right? And so it's, you know, the ability of like, how do we maintain that we both are arriving there together?
Yeah.
It's a relationship, right? It's a relationship, and that's a great thing to have. Like I said, usually I'm setting poems or dealing with text, you know, that has to be out of copyright. So by that very nature, the person is no longer living. So that's what I believe in contemporary art. I think it's a great thing to work with performers and musicians together. I've worked with choreographers, you know, even like, you know, it's film. I've done a little bit of film, and it's great to work with living artists and see what you can come up with together.
Yeah. Oh, that's why I love contemporary art too. You know, that's, you know, as a performer as well. It's just, that's what makes it special. You know, we'll always perform, you know, I'll always perform things by people who I'm not in a relationship with, but it just makes what you're doing so much more special. When there's other perspectives, other people involved, the final product can grow because it's not just me, you know. So, well, I'm even more excited than I was before about seeing how the puzzle fits together, and helping and watching both of you work through this puzzle. Well, I think that about wraps it up, unless either of you have anything you'd like to add. Oh yeah, anything.
I'm just excited to see how it all comes together and for you all to have a chance to experience what I think we're going to create, which I think is going to be pretty special.
Me too.
And, you know, kudos to Loop 38 for coming up with such a creative project. And, you know, I know what it takes to put on a concert like this and to bring in two artists. I know it's a lot of grant writing and a lot of fundraising. So kudos to your group. We need more groups like yours who really have a vision behind what contemporary art means. So at this point, I'm hoping we get an audience, and I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much. That means a lot. We're excited about projects like these, and this one in particular. So to everyone watching, make sure that you're on the lookout for more information about this project. Mark your calendars. May 2023 will be in the Rothko Chapel, and we can't wait to see you all there. With that, we'll say goodbye for now. Alrighty. Bye, everybody. Thank you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.